Citizen Kane is a movie that has stood the test of time and can relate to a person today just as much as it could relate to a person back in 1941 when it was originally produced. This movie is written, produced, directed, and starred in by Orson Welles. What a guy, right? Citizen Kane follows the successes, failures, marriages, and triumphs of Charles Foster Kane and shows how he became a famous newspaper mogul. This movie is actually shown not in chronological order and starts from the end of his life, where we see him lying on his bed and he utters the word rosebud. Throughout the rest of the movie, we are on a quest to figure out what this word means and what significance it had on his life. Since we start from the end, the whole story of his life is shown through flashbacks, being presented to us by people who knew him and their memories of him, all while trying to figure out the mystery of Rosebud. This use of flashbacks as the way to tell this story is extremely notable in movie making because it's an unusual way to see the main character go through his life from an outside perspective, but we are also still rooting for him because he was an underdog who never really wanted to be this big famous rich guy. He just wanted happiness. Speaking of Charles Kane's happiness brings us to a central theme referenced throughout the movie. The unifying idea that we see throughout most of the interviews given by Kane's friends and family is that Charles Foster Kane was obsessed with getting people's love. He wanted unconditional love from his co-workers, his wives, his city, and pretty much everyone he came across. But he never had any love to give to others, which left him lonely and with an emptiness inside of him that he never really got to fill. Orson Welles greatly utilizes his own acting skills and sound in Citizen Kane to establish the character's dominance in a scene. For example, every time Kane is on the screen, we are reminded of his charismatic and comedic personality in his younger years, because almost every line is a joke or a sarcastic one-liner, and it seems like the world seems to stop whenever he speaks, like when he gives addresses to his campaign, when he speaks to his wives, or when he is being interviewed. The sound is little, if there's any at all, in the background. As he ages, though, we see his dominance remain, but the comedy and his carefree nature seem to dissipate as he's getting older, and he's still not receiving the love that he so desperately longs for. The one thing that we are trying to figure out throughout the whole entire movie is the mystery of Rosebud, and it definitely hooks you in. You want to know what this word means. This idea brings me to another theme throughout the movie, and that is the idea of the facade that is materialism. Being materialistic means that you are overly concerned with having possessions, and we see throughout the movie that Charles Kane was a very materialistic man. At a young age, he starts just collecting a plethora of things: statues, works of art, trinkets. And the explicit meaning of this is that he's trying to fill a void in him, a void in his life with material possessions, but we learn that he never really got to fill that void, and we learn the lesson that you can have millions of dollars and millions of things, but you will never be truly happy unless you can give and receive love with other people, which he could never do. At the end of the movie, we are finally given our answer of the mystery. As they are burning some of his items, we see a sled that we saw in the beginning of the movie when he was first taken away from his home at a young age. A device known as foreshadowing is used by highlighting and zooming in on this particular sled and showing it being abandoned by its owner. We realize the importance of the sled when it is revealed that he got it from his childhood home and it is in his collection of items, and as it's being burned, we see the one word written across the front: Rosebud. And so the mystery is solved. Rosebud was no woman or random word. Rosebud stood for the lost childhood and the lost life that he could have had if his mom had never signed the papers to give him away.